Oh, here with some Diablo 3. Haven't played this for a minute, but the point I'm going to make here is I'm going to try and use Diablo 3. I'm going to turn the game down so you guys can just hear me better, because I want people to understand this, and I want people to hear this as good as they can, because I'm going to do my best to describe the accessibility in Diablo 4 using Diablo 3. What I mean is, because I played the beta so extensively, I understand how the accessibility is working initially. Endgame material, we have no idea. But initially, for leveling and like just walking around the environment, accessibility to me is top notch. To me, I would say just buy Diablo 4, play it, you'll have fun with it. You might get lost, but guess what? ARPGs are not complicated. They're not like Last of Us and God of War. They're like traversing puzzles and all this crap. You don't do extensive navigation in these games. All you do is you walk almost in a straight line to the west, to the north, to the east, to the south, and that's it. That's not that complicated. There might be some backtracking, but guess what? The nature of Diablo, unless you're playing truly solo, you always have a friend to follow, a party member, a random player you encounter. There's always somebody to follow in case you do get lost. There's always ways to reset if you do get lost. Like it's not as complicated as it seems to be. Right? I just want to get out of the way. Now, for the main accessibility points, you have your TTS, which is native TTS on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever the new Xbox is. So that'll be the native screen readers on those consoles, reading the menus. So, for example, here in Diablo 3, if I hit options, this would be resume game, settings, change difficulty, and whatever these other options are below that. I don't really care. If I click R3 on this screen, the TTS would then say open lobby, friends only, invite only. Like it would read the TTS in Diablo 4 reads every single menu, even the gear, right? So right here, if this is, nope, wrong class. Hold on, let me get the necro. It's not a necro. Where is it? Come on. Yeah, there we go. So here we go. So, assuming we're in Diablo 4, right? Now, the gear screen is laid out differently. Here in Diablo 3, it's a wheel. You can use your touchpad or joystick to move around the wheel, left, up, down, right, whatever. But in Diablo 4, it is a grid, like Diablo 2. So you use a D-pad to navigate the gear screen. It's not hard to navigate. It's just 3 rows, left to right rows, and then your actual gear you're equipping is all on the right side. So like if you go to the top, it'll say head, down one will be this piece, that piece, this piece, that piece. This way you can check all your gear stats. As far as Diablo 3 is concerned, if I were to pull up sorry about that. I want to pull up my main weapon here. This is a one-handed scythe. If I remember correctly, the scythe of the cycle. It would it would give me stats like 700 dexterity, 500 intelligence, plus 700 life on hit, like all these different stats. The TTS would read all this, right? For example, in Diablo 4, because the way the stats and affixes are different, would be something like simple dagger, 11 to 22 damage, common one-handed slashing damage, plus 5 dexterity. Like it would read it a little differently because just the nature of the affixes and stats, but it would read it, right? Now, from here, let's go to skills. Now, for Diablo 4, again, it's like Diablo 2 skills trees. You have to pick a skill manually. It's not a wheel in Diablo 3, but it would say something like, I'm so sorry. It would say something like, okay, Grim Harvest, slashing, like it would. I don't remember the actual description of the Grim Harvest, but basically it's like you slash enemies with a scythe, and gives you essence back, it regenerates essence, and then this rune it would say every hit has a chance to imbue a curse, or 15 or whatever. I think 15%, but the TTS reads all your gear and skills you need it to read in an ARPG. So that's a really positive bonus right there. It reads all the menus to set up your character, to set your settings, to do all these different things, right? So now what about the actual gameplay, right? What about walking around and killing things? Well, to be honest, again, with the way the game works, it's not complicated. You don't need hey, here's a mob 20 feet away. Like, you can hear that, right? So what Diablo 3 always needed was TTS and gear, like, sound effects. That's what it has. Because again, in endgame scenarios, in ARPG scenarios in general, you're not really traversing, you're not really navigating the world unless you're doing quests, in which I'll get to how quests are done in Diablo 4. They're actually not complicated at all from a purely blind perspective. I completely by myself, without any assistance, was able to complete quests and navigate to environments just fine. It took a minute, but I did it. And I understand I have a bit of advantage because I've played ARPGs for years. I've done other stuff besides just stick with fighting games for years. So it's easier for me to do this than other people. However, it can be done, is the point. Now, the actual in-game stuff, right? So if, let's say, I don't have any spare gear drop. Let me just grab some of my stash. Just grab the scythe and drop it. Okay, so for legendaries, those are obvious. You can hear those. But in Diablo 4, the difference is this. The difference in Diablo 4 is that there's a constant sound tied to this. It's not pinging, it's not like sonar, it's just that ringing sound constantly. So you can always hear where items are. Gold, potions, items, anything. So, let's say for example, I'm killing an enemy, kill, and then like the fourth one drops item. Say they're just simple boots, right? I would hear that drop, and I could walk back and find it based on the sound. Oops. Now, this applies to all weapons and armor, and it has different sounds based on if it's a socketable item, non-socketable item, rare, magic. Like, everything you can think of has a different sound tied to it, so you understand what you're grabbing. Similar to how Last of Us, you have to learn all the sound effects so you know what you're doing, or need to listen for. The biggest thing a lot of blind people are having trouble with is navigation. And I get it, because again, this is a completely different genre of game. Most blind people are playing fighting games. They're not used to navigating a top-down environment. Some of us are used to The Last of Us and God of War, where it's a third-person behind-the-shoulder perspective. However, again, it's not a top-down RPG. A top-down RPG is pretty simple to navigate as far as you head north, east, south, or west. That's it. There may be some doors that you gotta click on, or maybe, but that's about it. Like, there's not much to really worry about getting stuck or lost. The tricky part is, like, maybe there's a narrow hallway, you missed it, right? Then you just loop around until you find the hallway, and then boom. It's easier said than done. But my anecdotal evidence is this. I was able to complete a couple side quests, random events. I participated in random events. I did side quests, like I just said. I repeated that myself. I even almost cleared a dungeon, like, without, like, it can be done, right? How all this plays out in endgame is anyone's guess, because Diablo 4 looks like it's going to have a very robust, intricate endgame. Now, so for the long story short, TTS reads everything in the game, quite literally everything, to the point where it's kind of in the way. It will read minion, elite. It'll read the name of whatever you're highlighting. It'll read everything, which is really nice. Really, really nice. You can hear every single drop in the game, so you know what's dropping around you, what you want to prioritize to pick up or leave or salvage. Finding your friends is pretty easy because, again, the map. So, okay, so I pulled the map here, right? Here. Sorry. Oh. Sorry. So here in the map, right? Pull the map, R1, and this is your acts, right? Act 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Or no, this is the waypoints in this act. So the TTS in Diablo 4 would be reading every single one of these to me. It'd say like Nutristrum, Halls of Agony, or whatever, right? Different zones. So then you could okay, I want to go to this zone because I know the mob type here, I know the layout here. Let me farm this, right? It may not be the most efficient thing, but guess what? If you're blind and you figure out, hey, I like this zone. This zone's great for blind people because it's very open, easy to navigate. Boom, find that zone, go farm it. Aside from all that, the the big kicker is, you pull up your map, and then let's say you have a side quest, go find whoever's corpse and like bring back a note or whatever, right? Something simple. If you have that quest marked, it has a trail you can follow, visually speaking. Auditorily, nothing, right? As far as I know, unless again full on to the game, they might add it, right? But the idea is you do the map, you scroll right, scroll left, scroll up, scroll whatever direction, so you can find the quest. It'll tell you quest marked. So it's, find this, blah, 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 whatever. You hit square, or X on Xbox. I don't know what the key is on PC. But you hit square, you basically pin it. And you remember, okay, I moved northwest on the map, or top left. Okay, when I come on the map, boom, follow that. Your pin will tell you when you're close to the objective. So then from there, all you have to do is just stay in that general area, find the objective, interact with it, boom, get it going. It's not that complicated. Again, I'm not saying this to sound like an asshole. I'm just trying to help people understand how this works. It's not that complicated. I can, like I said, once the game releases, I have no problem helping people and helping them understand and learn. But again, because this is a new experience for almost everyone in the BFGC. Because again, 95% of us stick with fighting games. We're not used to collecting loot and gear and, all this other crap. Some of us are, based on Last of Us and Ragnarok, but that's about it. Like, even like Deathloop had accessibility. Like, a lot of games have accessibility, but a lot of them are not accessible enough for totally no vision gamers. The only ones that truly are fighting games and Last of Us, because Ragnarok has some inconsistencies. But you can still Ragnarok it. But yeah. So again, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys found it helpful. If you guys have any blind friends or low vision friends interested in this game, or people who are doubting it, just hopefully they found some of this helpful to make a better decision. I personally am going to no life Diablo 4. I don't see any reason not to. I'm going to support the game. Blizzard, yes, the name Blizzard isn't so hot right now, but the dev team behind Diablo 4, even though they're part of Blizzard, they are some of the best devs I've heard in years. They're passionate about the game. They're listening to feedback. They're clearly doing everything right. So I'm on board with the game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks again for listening. See you guys next time.